Alright, so anytime you do a remodel, you need to be mindful of what you're getting into. This kitchen was originally installed sometime early in the 20th century. So not all of it's been updated, and this definitely hasn't. So if you look here, this is a really old box, but that's not my main worry or concern about this being just an old box. If it was an old box and it was intact, it wouldn't be problematic. But this is one reason why we're doing a full gut. I shouldn't push that in like that. I shouldn't be able to move that box at all. It's completely loose. There's nothing here. I'm not even sure what that is, what that piece is that just fell out. But that's why make sure you disconnect the power going to all outlets and be prepared for something like that. I haven't even dug into this wall yet to find out. I was just taking the cover off to take the outlet off. However, I'm going to leave the outlet right there because that box is not secured to anything. Just like earlier, you could see this box wasn't secured to anything. It wasn't attached to a stud. It was simply in that space being held in by the insulation behind it and the massive amount of drywall and plaster that had built up around it. Also, if you look at this, that's some pretty old wire. That's 12-3. There's some more old wire, and there's some newer Romex, but not good. This wire here, if you're wondering what it goes to an outdoor outlet that I haven't tested yet. It's way down there. But as you can see here, it's just loose. There should be some wire staples holding this in place. Yeah, it's definitely not good. So that's why it's all coming out, every bit of it. Be mindful anytime you're doing a home renovation, whether it's yours or for someone else. Be mindful that you don't know what's behind those walls. And it might be something like this. It might be something like that. It might be something like this over here, where that outlet and switch were on one circuit, but that one's on a completely different circuit. That's why I haven't touched it, because it's still live. Even after I thought I had all the power off, I always double check, because I've got this thing going on here where I've got a light switch here, and you can actually see it in the video, though it's still live. It's on a different circuit here coming in. I'm assuming this is the live circuit, the hot coming in, because I've got this one and I can trace it over to that outlet over there, which is, by the way, live. That's why it's still there. And you can see the box down there is on a completely different circuit going to the floor. So I need to trace that in the basement and find out what's going on. This one I need to trace up into the ceiling and see what's going on up in the attic. So anytime you're tearing into a wall or going to do home remodeling, make sure you exercise some common sense and safety. Shut off the power. Okay? Find out which breaker goes to that room, goes to those outlets, goes to those fixtures, and shut it off. What I do in the breaker box when I shut off breaker and it's going to be shut off for a while, I put tape over it in the off position, because I figure if somebody's going to accidentally turn it on, they're a lot less likely to turn it on if there's tape covering it. So tape it. If it's going to be a while, just remove the breaker completely. Just remove it from the breaker box. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to by the end of the day. The main reason I haven't done that yet is because I'm still hunting down breakers. So, and making sure everything's shut off. That's why the wires that I've cut, they're nowhere near each other. They're completely off from each other. See, even up there, they're not next to each other. So be mindful of that, and we'll get back to it. We do have a work light in here because there's no electricity in this room, in this area of the house, because if you look at my public service announcement on Facebook, there was right there an outlet just hidden by drywall in a metal box, similar to this one. But unlike this one, the outlet was sticking out of it and it was arcing. And yes, I did get a little bit of a jolt. It wasn't fun. I don't recommend it. Always test outlets and make sure that there is no power going to them. That concludes the public service announcement on the exercising due regard for electricity, because it will travel through you. In case you're wondering why this is in my hand, this one was in similar fashion, but I knew about this one because it was right here. Just hanging in that space. Just hanging there. And it controlled the light above the sink, which is that wire right there. And if you notice, there's some pretty big black marks all along there, some signs of melting, definitely some arcing going on. And a big note, no ground wire, none. Definitely need a ground wire, but no ground wire. Also on the box, don't know how well you can see it with the flash, but there is some arcing all over this box. It's a metal box, and there's signs of arcing. Definitely not good, not good at all. So be mindful when you are remodeling or renovating. Some of this old wiring is probably in your house, and be careful around it. Make sure it's disconnected and not live, because if this metal box arcs, you're gonna know it. So, but Tori and Dorothy and Brittany helped me get all the cabinetry out tonight, which I'm very thankful for. Also, there's these light fixtures over here. They were also covered up. I knew they were there because I'm the one who covered them up. There's nothing to them. They're just the cases cabinetry of it. So I can tell that from the attic space. But in the walls, you can't tell that. So the thing about this one is right there, you can see that hole. That's where the wire went, and it went above the cabinet over to this fixture and then straight down, and it was just hanging in the wall right there. So be mindful of that. Exercise safety, stay safe, and this is what we've got going on. A nice little bonfire worth of wood sitting there. Particle board, press board from the cabinets coming out. There's one that made it out in kind of one piece. So stay safe. All right, so those are separate for our three-way switch. The switch is currently off. We want to make sure we got the right breaker shut off. I turned on the light and just went down, made sure the breaker was the right breaker, and went from there. As soon as the light shut off, I left that breaker off, taped it in the off position, and marked it. Now, we want to make sure that we have the right cords coming out for our remodel. This is for the light on the dining room, or the kitchen part. This is the light on the dining side, and this is our light for the living room. And as you can probably see, it's on a different circuit. So we do not want to damage those wires because we still want light in that room. So how I'm going to do this is make sure that no matter which way these are on, there's no electricity going to these two. And then I'm simply going to cut them and pull them out of the box from above. That way I don't risk having any electrifying moments. So be mindful whenever you're working with electrical outlets, wire. Make sure there's no live wires going to it. Shut off that power and you'll be fine.